Hi! On Woodpecker today, last year I was not too inspired to make my Christmas gifts, so I made some Christmas ornaments.
December is always a busy time for me. We need to cut our firewood. A good part of our wood came from this tree. It's pretty big. So while I was at it, I cut several planks. This is what we cut. And here's the firewood. It may look like a pile of snow, but it really is firewood. So all this eats into my preparation time for Christmas presents. So to make this simple, I've decided to make some ornaments. It's easy and fast. The first thing I have to do is to make a jig to hold the balls in place on the lathe. When I have a hole in a piece of maple, I epoxy glue a threaded rod. To make sure it's straight, I let it cure on the lathe with the second block as a straight guide. But I don't only trust epoxy to hold this in place. When the epoxy is hard, I drill a hole through the wood and the rod. In this hole, I glue a brass rod. While the glue dries, I can take care of the two spacers I will need. When the glue is dry, I can remove the excess brass. Now I can finally start to make the ornaments. The first thing to do is to prepare some cherry cubes. When I have a couple, I drill a hole the size of the threaded rod in the end grain of the first one, and bigger holes on the sides. This is what the cube looks like now. All the pieces can go on the threaded rod of the jig, and I can turn my first ball. This goes pretty well. Up until I try to turn the spacer round. That's when I realized this was not a super bright idea. I'm going to turn it differently. When I'm done, it's time for the second ball. But for this one and all the other ones, I drill all the holes on the lathe. Then it's time to turn a ball. In fact, this doesn't take long. But I also need some walnut for the finials. This is my very first one. I must admit that my first attempt to make an ornament was a terrible fail. After turning the finial, I cut it in half and glue it to my first ball. Put this back on the lathe and try to make it fit better. But as you can see, gluing all the pieces straight is quite a challenge. I tried to make it round again, but I was unable to. Now it's time to prepare more cherry wood. When I have 9 drilled cubes, I can turn all of them into balls. Here they are. I still need some finials. But this time, to help in the turning, I remove all the corners. Done. It's time to turn this. With the piece still on the lathe, I apply most of the finish. In fact, it's a shellac mix for wood turners. Then I finish the tip. When the finial is cut, I put it back into the chuck and finish the tip with sandpaper. Here they are, all the pieces to finish the ornaments. First, I need to cut what I've turned in half. If you're asking about that annoying noise in the background, well, it's my CNC carving another type of ornament that we sell at Christmas fairs. I've made 16 new designs so far this year. Before gluing the walnut to the cherry, I drill some holes for the eye screws, which will hold the bells in place. Screw the eye screw and glue all the pieces in place. I need to do this for all the ornaments. Here they are, but the cherry is not protected, so I wipe some beeswax on it. When I'm done with the wax, I can tie the bells inside. There's not a lot of space for my big fingers. I need to use tweezers for this. The very last thing to do is to screw another eye screw on top. Finally, all my ornaments are done and ready to be given as presents. As you can see, this is quite easy to make and it can be a great gift. The best part of it is that you won't need to spend too much time making them and they look great in the Christmas tree. Thank you and see you soon for another episode of The Woodpecker.